From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
We have weathered a lot of changes at the federal level.
Budget cuts hitting another Montana nonprofit. How services could change for an organization fighting poverty here in the Treasure State.
You know, they come in with the idea that kids are going to cheat with AI.
AI in the classroom. What technology could lend teachers some help in Billings Public Schools, and what concerns they're keeping in mind?
Amazing to just be like, yeah, this is something that's considered a weed or just a cover crop a lot of the time. Is like, you don't need to just like throw it away.
And cooking up something a little different. In this morning's Montana Ag Report, a look at how Montana researchers are trying out edible weeds. Those stories and much more coming up in the next hour. Good morning and welcome back to Montana This Morning. It is the 18th day of August. It is also Monday. Yeah. I'm in for Haley today. Of course, Miller's always here Monday through Friday. I'm just a visitor on his in his little studio.
Oh, whatever. It's always good to have you here, Don. Good to see you there, buddy.
How's it looking? You're saying heat,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, we got some heat. Now, it's going to be hot today, but really Tuesday, Wednesday is where we have a chance to possibly see some record temperatures. We haven't officially hit 100 yet at the Billings Airport. We're going to have a chance to do that tomorrow and maybe even on Wednesday. Several locations, especially tomorrow, could hit those triple digits. Now, as we take a step back in time, yesterday turned out to be a pretty seasonal day. Our high of 88, our low of 61. We did have some outflow from some of those storms that hit to the north of us. So we did have a top gust of about 27 miles an hour. A little bit of rain last night in Billings, nothing measurable. Still pretty good shape for the month. And of course, we're doing fantastic for the year. This is what it looked like over the last 12 hours. Last night, we did have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for a while there from Miles City, where we had reports of a tree coming down and knocking down a power line. We had a gust of about 66 miles an hour. That stuff has now moved off to the east. You can see there's a great shot over Harlington last night around 7 o'clock. A nice little shelf cloud there from Joyce. What a great shot there, Joyce. Thank you so much for sending that in. Again, pretty much quiet. Maybe a little bit of rain this morning in Broadus over there in the southeast corner of the state, and that should be about it. But as we get into the afternoon, could fire back up again. Temperatures this morning, just a few spots. We've got 61 in Cody, 55 in Sheridan, up here in Montana, 59 in Jordan, 62 in Miles City. Over in Livingston, we're sitting at 52. Here in Billings, a nice 61 degrees. Not a bad start this morning. We've got winds out of the southwest at about 12 miles an hour, humidity at about 75%. Day planner today getting up to about 93 with lots of sunshine, but we're not stopping there. Yeah, we'll see a lot of 90s today, but triple digits tomorrow, a chance to see some records. Who possibly could see those records? What are those temperatures going to be? We'll take a look. Come on.
Yeah, who could see them, and everybody's going to film them. That's the other part of this.
Absolutely. It's going to get hot out there.
All right, Miller, thank you very much. We are tracking kind of a breaking news situation in the Billings Heights area. Billings police say that they're investigating after a report of a shooting or some type of disturbance. Now, details are extremely limited, but as of this morning, that area is reopened. In a Billings police Facebook post, officers say the call was cause enough to actually close areas of Lake Elmo Drive and Killarney Street in the Billings Heights. Now, this happened just after 10 o'clock last night. With the closure lasting about an hour, police have not really released any details other than what you're seeing here and what I just told you. Meanwhile, a portion of a major avenue in Billings also reopened this morning for the commute after Billings police say they responded to a serious crash between a motorcycle and another vehicle. Again, details on this case limited at this hour. What we do know, police posted that the crash happened just after 9 in the 1100 block of Grand Avenue heading westbound. That crash shut down the road between 10th and 12th on Grand. Right now it's unclear who was hurt or the extent of their injuries, but police are calling this a serious injury crash. We just don't have a lot of information to pass on. Montana's largest wildfire continues to burn in Bighorn County this morning, but crews say it's no longer spreading as fast as it was. The Mission Butte fire started last Tuesday about 5 miles east of St. Xavier, has burned or charred more than 6,100 acres. It remains 0% contained this morning, but fire officials say growth slowed since last week. Meanwhile, several other fires continuing to keep crews busy, including 5 in Madison County, near Gallatin County. Statewide, there are 36 active fires with 10 new starts just in the last couple of days. We turn our attention now to the White House. The power talks will continue today as President Trump is set to welcome Ukrainian President Zelensky. The Oval Office gathering will be the first time Zelensky has returned to the White House since really that disastrous meeting with President Trump earlier this year. Today's meeting comes just 4 days after President Trump's meeting in Alaska with Russian President Putin, which ended with no announcement of any type of ceasefire. However, Trump says he's committed to achieving peace between the two countries, but believes both Ukraine and Russia will need to make concessions. Meanwhile, we're hearing from Montana Senior Senator Steve Daines on the future of the Stillwater mine. Now, it comes after families told us that they really are feeling forgotten 9 months after more than 700 workers were laid off in a global palladium downturn. One family says the spotlight really has been on coal jobs. We caught up with Dane as he toured Bull Mountain Mine to ask where Stillwater stands as President Trump signals that he could strike a deal with Putin to end the war in Ukraine. Senator Dane says Montana has a role in that global fight. He argues that Russian palladium is basically flooding U.S. markets right now. It's helping to fund Putin's war. It's also putting Montana miners out of work, something that Stillwater families agree with but would like to see some more action.
The Russians are dumping palladium, driving the market price down. The irony behind all this is here we have Americans buying Russian palladium, which is supporting Putin's war in Ukraine. That's wrong. We can change that by getting more made in Montana palladium. Best thing we can do right now is to have the president tariff Russian palladium coming in.
For Stillwater families, it's a reminder that what happens really in global power talks can actually ripple all of its way to Montana, where they're hoping that tariffs or sanctions could mean a second chance at work at Stillwater. Budget cuts on the federal level are set to make an impact on Montana as well. One Montana nonprofit, the HRDC, is one that offers a range of programs to combat poverty really across the state. But the latest cuts could change the outlook of services for thousands of people here in Montana. As MTN's Haven Van reports, despite the fears, the nonprofit is confident it will endure.
If you've been following news headlines, you've likely heard about the potential federal budget cuts that could affect communities across the United States, including here in Montana. But what would those cuts actually mean, and how are vital nonprofits like the HRDC preparing to respond?
We have weathered a lot of changes at the federal level. We're 50 years old. We've survived a lot of different administrations and different priorities at the federal level.
CEO Heather Grenier has been with the HRDC for nearly half of that time. She explains that in nearly 25 years with the nonprofit, they've worked to reduce its reliance on federal funding, which once sat at nearly 70%.
And so now that is closer to about 41% of our operating budget.
Grenier explains that federal funding is highly regulated and dispersed only after specific services have been completed. Services that over 13,000 people across Southwest Montana rely on every year.
And so it impacts a multitude of our programs and really is interwoven into every program in some very small and some very significant ways.
HRDC stands for Human Resource Development Council. Their mission to prevent poverty and empower communities through education, healthcare, and more. 19 of these programs stand to be impacted by federal cuts, with vulnerable dependents including seniors and foster youth. And Grenier says with federal changes to SNAP and Medicare, an indirect impact could result in greater need for their programs.
There are some other federal funding programs that are projected to be reduced or eliminated that would have some additional compounding effects on the need for our services.
Grenier says staff have been scenario planning for any level of budget cut, and she says they remain optimistic.
Our magic really happens at the local level. We're locally driven. We have a lot of local partners, and it's that local work and those local partnerships that really make things happen and endure whatever other external factors might survive.
Check out our website for more details on how to stay updated with HRDC.
We're really trying to focus on those, building and strengthening the partnerships that we do have so that we can build that resilience as well.
In Bozeman, Heaven Van, MTN News.
This morning, we are taking a close look at artificial intelligence and beyond what we see in our day-to-day lives, on our phones and maybe online. It's not just changing business, it is changing our students' classrooms. A new study shows more than half of students use AI for schoolwork, and teachers say they're using it as well. Our Vanessa Willardson takes us inside a building science class where one teacher is embracing the technology head-on.
The load that's on teachers to meet the needs of every student in their classroom is a lot.
53% of teachers reported burnout in 2025, according to a RAND survey.
You feel like a failure at times when you can't meet everybody's needs, whether they're high, low, or in between.
Sarah Rainey, instructional technology coach at Billings Public Schools, is teaching the teachers and students how to use artificial intelligence programs to serve them, which she hopes reduces teacher burnout and benefits student learning.
If I'm teaching something from my curriculum, I can copy it and paste it in here, and now it can create some activity for me.
Rainey has introduced teachers to programs such as School AI, Magic School AI, Diffit, and Brisk Teaching. She says, while there are many services these programs offer, many teachers have had concerns about bringing AI
into the classroom. I've had several teachers who've taken my courses that are skeptical. You know, they come in with the idea that kids are going to cheat with AI. And the reality is kids are going to cheat even without AI.
Carly Swain, a 6th grade science teacher at Lewis and Clark Middle School, has embraced the use of AI in her classroom.
I love that I can create any sort of interactive that I want for my students to practice, and I don't have to spend hours coding it.
She uses AI as a tool to plan lessons, grade assignments, and brainstorm activities.
You're catching on fast.
So all of this is just done
as you
with AI.
continue your journey.
The programs can also help her customize learning tools for each student based on how they absorb information and their knowledge on the subject.
I think with these capabilities, we not only have the option now of meeting every student at their academic level, but at their interest level.
While it's new territory, Swain is excited to see how AI changes her ability to reach her students.
To these students who can't just sit and focus, it becomes accessible, and that's what we want. So I guess we have to determine what's more important to us, doing it in a way that we're comfortable or doing it in a way that's comfortable for them.
In Billings, Vanessa Willardson, MTN News.
In this morning's Montana Ag Report, when you think of weeds, you probably don't picture them on your dinner plate. But Montana State researchers say one weed in particular could be a game changer for sustainable foods. MTN's Megan Elaine takes us inside Whistlepig Korean in Bozeman, where weeds are on the menu for science.
It's all about just like layering flavors and layering textures, I think is really important.
Thursday at downtown Bozeman's Whistlepig Korean, Chef Emma Woods was cooking up something a little different. A salad made with weeds.
Amazing to just be like, yeah, this is something that's considered a weed or just a cover crop a lot of the time. Is like, you don't need to just like throw it away.
She was approached by Montana State researchers and given creative freedom to make a dish with purslane, a succulent okra-textured plant that's commonly pulled from Montana's farms, but treasured in places like Korea, Italy, and Mexico.
Koreans love it. So it was really easy for me to come up with an idea. I was just like, oh yeah, I could definitely do something with that.
And she did. For a 2-day tasting event, she created an acorn jelly purslane salad. Leah Sherman is a master's student at MSU Sustainable Food Systems. She says purslane is packed with benefits.
Really unique. It has a ton of nutritional benefits. It has super high content of omega-3s, omega-6s, vitamins, minerals. So we are researching how to optimize those.
This is the second food research event the program has hosted to see if Montanans are ready to welcome edible weeds to their tables.
What we are focusing on is how to introduce it into a community, get people to learn about it, if they are interested in it, if it's something that people would eat.
Leah says research shows it grows well in Bozeman's climate.
It grows everywhere. It grows really quickly. It doesn't need a ton of water. It's a good plant to, I guess, support the environment.
As Leah walks the room, she gives a QR code survey to diners trying purslane for the first time.
I'm just glad that people are willing to try it because that's something that's special to us.
And many who did try it were surprised.
Fun. I love the idea of using an ingredient that pretty much everybody has just growing in their garden.
What about the taste?
So refreshing. Exactly what we were looking for.
Now, of course, I had to try it for myself.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of a seaweed salad.
With Chef Emma's authentic Korean influences like acorn jelly, to her, this isn't just a salad.
Sharing the culture of Korea to Bozeman and just expanding people's culinary horizons as well.
In Bozeman, Megan Elaine, MTN News.